Hey, welcome back. Yes, it's TrendingSA on SABC3, and you know how we do it every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And don't forget, tonight's MCM guests, of course, are the faces of SABC3. Yes, the new ones, Harmony as well as Fizzily, will be joining us in a bit, so you want to be here. They'll be sharing their story of how they made it on television. Zang zang. Now, of course, it's time to see some of your posts and hear what you have to say. And Nina?
Yeah?
Do you want to read some posts?
No, it's just that when you stand here, you always do this move for everyone. You guys catch my leg. But it's really hard, so I'm just going to do it like that. All right. Yes, I have some tweets for you guys. Would you like to check them out? All right, so there's Puppy's face. Saying, waiting for Fezzy, Lemkeys, and Harmony like, Oh, Pub sent her love, guys, by the way. She sent us a text. And Sporro, the DJ, says, if you think there is a better show besides TrendingSA, let me know so I can block you. Tell them, babes. Just tell them.
Block.
Listen.
Block, block, block.
Who are you blocking?
All of them.
You are blocking on your shirt there. Listen, thank you for all your posts, likes, and retweets. We love hearing from you, so keep them coming. Yeah. Listen, Tweeps decided to make today National Parents' Day when hashtag some things my parents taught me popped up on my timeline. So the long and the short of it, people were showing love to their parents who've blessed them with wisdom to get through life, except with Musa, they gave him the tools to be a doctor, but also to dress like a table. I thought it was an adorable hashtag. So let's check what people were saying, starting with at Mo_easy. Finish your food before you eat meat. Hashtag some things my parents taught me.
Now you're sitting with gout problem.
Kelly Chuck One says, pretend to be deaf when adults are talking. Hashtag some things my parents taught me. And then
see, now they usually just switch languages.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they used to do that to me as well.
Yeah, you'll find one.
Which language would it be?
Afrikaans or something ridiculous.
Yeah, they used to speak Srpski around me. They see my fake friends right after they agreed hashtag some things my parents told me. My parents are always like, I told you there was something wrong with that one. Listen, do you guys have any lessons that your parents taught you? I mean, Musa, I know I'm ripping you off, but what did your parents really?
My parents taught me that ubumnanda bupheli, which translates to nice times don't finish.
End, right.
But you don't have to go to all the parties.
Right.
You don't have to drink all the alcohol.
It'll always be there.
That stuff doesn't finish. Just do the important things, you'll get to them.
You will end up with a puza face.
He clearly didn't listen to his parents.
No, he doesn't drink, never did. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about him. Back to me. Right, my parents basically told me, Coolie Roberts, no, I wasn't Coolie Roberts then.
Wow.
They're like, no makula, don't do strange things. Just basically, if it feels strange, don't do it. Looks strange.
What if strange feels good?
Don't do it.
They didn't do it,
no,
right?
But if it's strange, don't do it. When yours, when a momo?
Mine reminds me of that song, Yagam Zegezeg. Mauti kuka.
Okay.
Kuka ngamato. You remember that song, right? That's what my grandmother taught me.
To wear balaclava.
Uti kuka ngamato. Like, just get on your knees. Get on your knees and pray. You know, when things are good, pray, thank God. When things are bad, you better get on your knees, girl. For anything and everything.
And boy, I'm assuming.
To pray for a man?
No, I don't
Yes,
go
and
there.
what? And what? Kneel for a boy?
I don't know what you're saying. Anyway.
My dad always just told me, like, Maguli, you just got to look sharp and function, you know what I mean? Look sharp, function. Anyway, moving on to the next hashtag.
I like that.
Late last week, Adam Katsavelis. You know that guy that everyone in the entire country hates because he's basically a racist. But on the plus side, he's an accurate weatherman. Anyway, I digress. Back to Adam Katsavelis. He's issued an apology letter to his racist video that went viral and got this whole country heated up for aggravating statements that he made in his now infamous video. And for those that missed the Adam Katsavelis so-called apology letter, here's in part what he said. I'm going to do it in his voice. I've watched my video and I feel total shame.
Yeah.
It's hard to put into words what I want to say and genuinely apologize. I don't expect people to forgive me. Good.
I don't.
We're not gonna. But we'll spend the rest of my life repenting. and trying to make up for my total lack of respect and judgment.
Is he going to spend the rest of his life in Greece or here?
Can you just don't talk to us and just go away. We're not interested in you. As expected, people didn't buy this apology because what is this? This is nonsense. Instead, he got an even heavier backlash for it from... These are some of the responses from you guys. Let me just show you. This is Patience Setati. Dear Adam Katsavelis, we strongly reject your weak apology. It will be heaven on earth if you remain in your K-free beach. Do not call us your people, because we're clearly not. You're a racist that deserves whatever you're receiving and more. No K words on site forgives you. Sarah Jane King says, Katsavelis didn't wake up that morning and the K word jumped into his mouth. Oof, exactly. It's been in his mouth. It's his head, in his heart forever because he's racist. This apology is more offensive to me than the crime itself, right? Hashtag racist, hashtag Adam Katsavelis. Wow. I'm shocked and I'm saddened. Back to the events that led to Adam trending again today. His older brother, Nick Katsavelis, who is quite frankly, I don't know who's the bigger, fool here, because I don't know if this was such a wise thing. He gave an interview with 702 presenter Eusebius Mkhizer. The interview, Nick speaks about his first time finding out about the viral video. Apparently Adam had sent him a voice note in a serious panic. Obviously, I'd love to hear that voice note. We don't have that, but we do have the interview, which prompted him to go and watch the video. And once he'd seen it, he told Adam that there was nothing he can do now for him. And the video was already out there. And by the time Nick had seen the video, which was before it was made public already, he anticipated the storm of reactions. And anyway, here's the moment where Eusebius asks Nick if he and Adam were raised in a household that casually just uses the K word. Now, take a listen to his answer in this clip and come up with your own opinion.
I think family lunches, I think they were pretty normal by any standard. We didn't sit around using language like this. I will tell you the last time I heard this language out of his mouth. Actually, let's talk about the family. Let's talk about the lunches. I think, my father's of Greek descent, my mother's not. Two quite divergent cultures. I grew up in an area that was considered it was Helen Suzmanville of South Africa. I grew up in Norwood, which by whatever standards in those days was supposedly liberal white South Africa. And these things are all relative looking back, because in truth, was it liberal? No, it wasn't liberal. We were living in an apartheid state. I can say unequivocally that we never sat around a Christmas table with this kind of language being used by either of my parents.
What are you hearing here?
Right.
What are you hearing, Musa?
Wow, shame, Nick. I have 2 points here.
Okay.
One, Nick, why are you doing interviews for your brother? That's my first question, right? Because your brother is a grown man. He doesn't need a spokesperson. He should be here doing these interviews himself. Which leads me to point two. Point two is, Adam, where are you, my brother? We are waiting. We just want to talk. We're not asking lots of questions. We just want to talk, my brother.
Now, guys, what makes me sick about this family is, first of all, this is Africa. You go to the beaches, you're not going to find North Koreans or Russians. You're going to find Africans. So calm down. This is going to be your reality, because this is Africa. And also, secondly, I want these people punished. I know that Tumisole did lay a charge against to the Human Rights Commission, as well as the EFF went to the cop shop and opened laid charges. They need to be punished. They're not sorry. They're not sorry at all.
Consequences.
No.
Consequences.
Because they were found out. That's why they're reacting right now. But, Lena, they did say more.
There was a little bit more. Look, I want to speak a little bit about resocialization of this country. There needs to be resocialization. We are still recovering from an atrocity where people don't know how to treat people. Clearly, this is what's happening. So these things need to be highlighted. People need to be made examples of. And we need to, as a country, teach each other how to treat each other with dignity. Look, there was so much that was covered in the interview. Here's another clip of Nick trying to give an explanation as to whether Adam is a racist or not. Gosh, I am shocked, and it's such a mystery. Let's hear what he has to say.
Is your brother a racist?
I think, the video is... what could I say about the video other than to say the video it's obvious what's been said in the video. I think you raised something really interesting, and that is that my brother is certainly not a white supremacist. My brother certainly doesn't sit and speak around race on a regular basis. To be quite honest, he's not that interested politically.
Wow.
Not a white supremacist. Literally, he was saying how wonderful it was to be in a space where he's the only white person, and that means that things are better. That literally is the translation of white supremacy.
Yeah, because he wasn't wearing a little pointy white hat. That's why the brother's confused.
But I love Nick.
His name is Nicholas.
I must introduce it as Nick.
Nicholas.
Okay, Nicholas. Yeah, I love Nicholas, and I'm so happy that he did that interview. Because he's digging the grave even deeper. Okay. He's really now exposing the family for who they really are.
Yeah, it's very problematic. But listen, the racism, I feel, is not something that comes out. It's not like a reaction. I don't pinch you and then you automatically become racist. You know, I think it is something that grows.
They've been groomed.
It is watered, it is given fertilizer, it's put in nice soil so that it grows very nicely. And then one day, on a very sad day for them, it comes out, and then you give out apologies that don't mean anything. That's just my feel about this. But listen, it is what it is, and that's what it was.
You know what, essentially, this family could complain about, oh gosh, we're being accused of racism. But you know what's worse than being accused of racism and the whole country hating you for being a racist? Is being a victim of it. Why don't you ask 50 million South Africans how that feels?
Yeah.
Don't forget, our beaches are going to be full of black people. That's how we roll.
That's life. We're moving on to another hashtag right now, and this one brings us to a very interesting story, one that we've known about for quite some time as a nation, one that has existed, and of course, recent reports tell us that R&B singer Busisiwe Sisi Twala, as well as Kwaito legend Arthur Mafokate, are in court. Now, this has been the news, widely reported, of course, and the charge was assault that was laid against Arthur by Sisi, and the story goes as such. So, allegedly, Arthur had dragged her down a gravel road with a minibus, which resulted in her shattering her pelvis and having to stay in ICU for quite some time. Now, the entire story has been a case of he says, and she says, and he says, and she says, with most of the country standing behind Sisi because we, and I think we all should, be against women and child abuse.
Of course.
That should be just the standard default setting. But both Sisi as well as Arthur appeared in court last week, where they were in Midrand at the Magistrates Court there, and the song that was being sung by Sisi was quite confusing to the original story that we had initially been fed, and left a lot of people scratching their heads a bit. Now, I thought we'd want to get to the bottom of this and, of course, get some clarity on the story and look at what's actually happened. And, of course, we're going to do this while looking at Sisi's court testimony and see what she did, as she was the first person to get onto the stand for this case. Now, let's start off with the statement that she made. That started off quite confusing, and the question was very simple. Did Arthur assault her or not? And this was the answer. So she says in court that I did not say Mr. Mafokate assaulted me. He said when Fick put it to her that the Kwaito veteran would deny that he assaulted her.
I'm very confused. I mean, a couple of minutes ago, we saw a news clip which read in June, Arthur Mafokate assaulted her.
So you mean this one here?
Yes, Sisi lays assault charges against Arthur Mafokate. And now you're saying a year later, she's saying that he didn't assault her.
But is this a quote or a headline? Because the recent one, the 2018 article, quotes her. She said it. Did she say it in 2017? That's just a headline.
And the quotes in that headline?
That can mean anything. What does that mean?
All very confusing, I feel. And it brings up an interesting point, and this is a wording point. And that, is it assault charges where she says she was assaulted, or because she's opening a case against someone for some sort of physical assault, whatever it may be, are we then calling that assault?
It sounds like one of those cases of, because you mentioning that Fick put it to her. You know, did you watch these Oscar Pistorius trials? Those advocates put those things. I put it to you. Did you say this? Did he assault you, or did he harass you, or So maybe there's a matter of wording, of questioning, and we're in the middle of a case. I think that it's very dangerous to be saying anything about this case because it could actually be libelous. It could we could be taking something out of context. It could actually just mean abuse or assault. We don't know what's being said inside that courtroom. It's dangerous and it's libelous, and I think that we should refrain from comment.
Yeah.
So now, looking at another quote that was said in this testimony, of course, was speaking of the many abuses that she endured from Arthur. Now, it seems to contradict the previous statement where she has said that she wasn't assaulted. Let's take a look at this one. She's quoted as saying, speaking during cross-examination, Twala said, and that being CC, I've been physically, emotionally, sexually, and financially abused.
See, that's what I'm saying. Now she's saying abused, but that's the situation. So it might not have been a physical assault on her, but it could have been an abuse situation. Maybe there was a rape involved. Maybe that was emotional abuse. When you are bullied and terrified by people, it's sometimes difficult to quantify.
Yeah, but then all of this is really confusing. But I think it boils down to what the difference is between assault and abuse. Because she may have said, yes, I have been abused, but I wasn't assaulted. But what does it all mean?
I don't know what that means.
I'm just finding it also confusing that if it was reported in June, why didn't you correct it then? This is now a following year.
But also, stuff that's reported, is it also always factual?
Yeah, it makes it very tricky, especially with wording issues like that. Because, and I explain this very simply, you being assaulted is some sort of physical harm to you. So you may not have been physically assaulted, but if every day someone is telling you you're worthless or someone is depriving you of getting your money or all those things, they also add up to not assault, but they're abuse. But can you take abuse to a court of law? Very, very interesting. And of course, there was another thing that was said on the stand, and this one had to do with the injuries that she had sustained, and this is what Cece said about this one. So, her testimony came after Fix admitted to her that Mafokate didn't know who had assaulted her and that he didn't know what had caused her injuries. Then how did you end up with a broken pelvic bone? It doesn't make sense, said Cece. So here, it's really just a case of he said, she said. So look at this example. If Willie Roberts decides that she's going to slap Pearl, Pearl's going to walk out and say, I've been slapped, here's the evidence, my face is now red. The only thing that happened is you guys know what happened.
Yeah.
You're going to say you didn't. She's going to say you did. And
She's
that's
going
the
to
end
say
of
you
that
hit
story.
yourself.
With an orange.
Yeah. But also, I mean, don't believe everything that you read. If you believed everything you read, I'm twice divorced. I was married to HP. I've got 2 children, and I'm a lesbian.
I just want the truth, Lala.
Oh, really, Nina? Who are you?
So much is going on. Nina's living a different kind of life. But anyway, this is a developing story, like we have said. More is going to come, I'm sure, this week as it continues, and we'll see where this goes. But all I think we need to hope for is that justice is served whichever way it goes. We're going for an ad break. When we come back, MCM in your face.
Oh, guys.
Muscles.
Oh,
Deep voices.
I can't wait.
We'll see you there. Let me go gym, actually.
Yeah. You need to go.